of course, you start praying like you've never prayed before. Jesus, protect us. Jesus, help us through this. We work with a group of people called the Mogan Sea Gypsies, and we were out on an island working with them, and it was time to come back to the mainland, which is a 2-hour boat ride. And we're in, it's a long-tail boat, no covering over it. We're just sitting, and there's no life jackets, no protection. That's just how we do it there. And so we were on our way in, and we could see that the weather was bad, and I think there were 16 college students and a couple of adults. And as we started going into the mainland, we were out in the middle of the ocean. Water started coming into the boat, and the waves started picking up, and the waves were crashing really big, and we could see them coming over. And it started getting pretty scary. Of course, you start praying like you've never prayed before. Jesus, protect us. Jesus, help us through this. And the waves started coming in the boat started sinking down, and 2 went up to the front and were hanging on, trying to put weight on the front of the boat. The water was coming in the back, and the boat driver had a bucket that he, as fast as he could, he was bailing the water, throwing it out, and we could see it going down more and more. And all I could think of was we were out in the middle of the ocean, get over to the land. And he started working his way over, but we could just see it filling up, and everyone was going down lower and lower. And the students, they were looking to us. What should we do? What should we do? We just kept reminding them, pray, pray. So there were these big mangrove trees, and he knew he needed to get there. So he started to go into the mangrove trees, and the boat literally was sinking. Something happened. I think it was because of the water in the diesel engine. He could not shut off the engine. So as we started going into the trees, the boat went faster and faster. And instead of slowing down, we went in, and all we could see was these huge limbs of trees, and we were going into them. And I just yelled to all of the students, duck, get down, because they would have decapitated us. So we all went down, went into it, and as the boat kept hitting the trees, it eventually stopped us. And when we landed in there, the first thing, of course, is to look around and see if everybody's okay and who was injured, because it literally could have cut off limbs and heads and things. We looked around, and everybody was fine, but very, very shocked and a little traumatized. And the water was still pretty rough, so we all climbed up in the trees, and we just looked at this boat that was sinking down. And this group of college students, they were so, they loved God and they trusted God, and we started laughing. And so we just sat up in the trees and prayed and thanked God, and pretty soon 3 boats start coming up. And it was the Mogan Sea Gypsies, and they took us in. And that night, it was so good to sit around with the students and just relive God's goodness as we cried out to Him and asked Him to save us. And we thought about the stories of Jesus in the Bible, how He calmed the waves and He helped the people. And even though Jesus wasn't sitting in that boat with us, in actuality He was. And even while we were out in the middle of the ocean and the waves were crashing, as we cried out to Him, I felt a peace knowing He was going to take care of us. So if you find yourself in a situation, I hope you're not in this kind of a long tail boat crash story, but if you find a situation where it's scary and you don't know, just remember Jesus is always with you. He will never leave you. He's always in control. And I feel like it's my favorite attribute of God. There are times when I feel like everything's out of control all around me and it's not the way I want it. I'm not in control, and yet He knows what's going on and He knows the outcome, and He's always there to help you through those hard times.